Hey guys, welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine, and this is your podcast show, your fan call in, where you guys have an opportunity to call in and have a chat with all of us on here. And we're going to be sitting back and obviously talking about cricket as per usual and everyday life. I'm sitting here with a big smile on my face, of course, because United hit Leeds for six, and seeing that this is a cricket channel, it makes perfect sense as a pun. So I had to explain it like that and say that. So I'm really happy about that. We're gonna have a few fan call-ins today. If you guys do go into the description, and in the description there is a fan call-in link where you can click in and come and have a chat with us. We're obviously going to talk all things Test cricket. We're going to talk about the youngsters in particular. We're going to talk about whether they should get an opportunity, of course. And whether they should get a chance against Sri Lanka, of course. And that's the main talking point that we're going to be talking about today. So before we get going, of course, everyone out there, you guys know what you're going to have to do. You need to subscribe to this channel, click that notification bell for all future videos. So I want to know what you guys think. Should we talk about the quality that is in the squad right now? Should we be talking about the youngsters that are in the side? Should they get an opportunity? But as per usual, I always have friends that come and help me out on the show. So first and foremost, I've got Paul waiting for me right there. Welcome to the show, brother.
Hey, how's it going?
It's always nice to just be able to have you there on standby where I can just click and you're there. No, it's awesome. How are you doing though? How was your weekend? I mean, this is normally
It wasn't Cape Town, but it was still good.
Yeah. How was it though? Did you do anything new? I mean, I know there's restrictions and everything, but did you get to at least do some sightseeing or anything?
No, man. Look, this is the part of my trip in Cape Town where obviously couldn't do a lot of sightseeing, but saw a few people. And yeah, but it was about the cricket, so that's why we were there.
Yeah, of course. We obviously spoke about it in depth, all the talent that we saw in the WSL. So amazing to see that. Obviously, the squad was announced, the Proteas squad to take on Pakistan, the Proteas women's squad. It was interesting to see Banetti in that team. I mean, that's someone that we saw, and we saw her play. So it was excellent to actually see her.
Yes, and Kazimate as well in there, as well as Khomotso Rapu, who made it in. She only played one game and took 3 wickets.
Yeah.
And Kirsty Thompson from Gauteng getting another.
And Annika Bosch as well. So that was also awesome to see that as well.
There are only a couple of names missing, but yeah, I think it was a very good squad.
I was very surprised that they didn't give more youngsters maybe an opportunity. I'm talking about like Dirksen, of course, that played really well. And Marie Dirksen showed a lot of class in that tournament as an opener. But I think it's because they have so many openers already in the squad. So many guys that can. Obviously, Andri Steyn getting another opportunity. So I think they have quite a bit of openers there, and they are going to give everybody an opportunity over there. But yeah, let's talk about the Proteas, because I think that's what everybody wants to know, wants to talk about. Guys in the comment section, let me know what you guys think. If you guys want to call in, the link is in the description. If you want to, I will put it in the live chat, so you can just click on it and come right now, right here. If you're on your phone, whether you're on your laptop, whatever you want to do, you just have to click that link that I just posted right now, and you can join the show. I'm not sure if it's a live link. You can just let me know if you can click on it from the chat. Mpo, as per usual, we've got another person waiting for us, and someone that we haven't got in a long time. We haven't chatted to, and we haven't had this duo on the channel in a long time, guys. So let's bring on Mr. Mpo. I want to introduce you to Mr. Lububal.
How you guys doing?
So this is hello to the people at the back there. Tell us to say hello. It's nice. We don't get to see people often, so it's nice to sometimes see people, with lockdown.
I'm about to punch one of them just now.
How are you doing, man? How's your weekend been so far?
It's been okay, a bit hectic, but no complaints. How you guys been?
We're good, surviving.
Yeah, Paul living the high life, nicely in Cape Town. Okay, guys, let's get into some of the comments. The comments are flying already. we've got one saying agree we should try youngsters, but experienced players needed as we need to start winning some test matches. That's an excellent point. It's great time to obviously bring the other musketeer on the screen, and obviously Mr. Ravi Reddy. His hair is all over the place now because he had to put the kid to sleep. So must we talk softly?
No, but I was singing "Glory, Glory, Man United" to get us to fall asleep, but you're so excited at a 6-2 scoreline.
A nice song to get her to fall asleep to.
Why do you think I'm so happy making these lame jokes?
No, I know. Mpo is backing United. I know Lubabalo is backing United. You know,
I wasn't backing United. I was backing Leeds, and look what happened. So every team I support seems to lose. So,
but
yeah.
I remember you rated Daniel
next
James
week.
once, so that's
Please
good.
put
That's
this.
as close to Leeds as possible. I know Vincent Barnes, who's watching the show, he was also backing Man United, even with a Man City shirt on. I'm sure he was backing us.
But guys, let's get back into it. Let's get back into the main talk over here, and that is obviously the tests. We've got another comment over here. Oh yes, give a bloke at least 5 test matches to prove himself or herself. Obviously, we're talking about the Proteas women as well. It would also improve the quality of franchise cricket in the country automatically. What is your thoughts on this, guys?
I'm a fan of giving someone 5 test matches, but with the lack of test matches that we've had over this past year, it's going to be very hard for you to give someone 5 test matches to prove themselves because South Africa play like 7, 8 test matches a year. So it's going to be very hard to give guys an opportunity. And that's where I think this team finds itself with, if this team was winning, it'd be a lot easier to say, okay, fine, Sri Lanka tour, you can give majority youngsters to see how they play in a test setting. But because we haven't had that many games, and we're also going to Pakistan as well, it's going to be a little bit tough to give a youngster 5 test matches just like that, especially if the team's not winning. And that's the most important thing. If the team's not winning, you're more likely to tinker.
No,
but on that note, if I could just ask, I would agree with you. In conventional times, it would seem somewhat impossible to just give a youngster 5 matches just like that. But if you think about it, the remainder of our fixtures in the ICC Test Championships, they're pretty much dead rubbers at this stage, right? I mean, we're not going to go up the log. We're not playing for promotion. This is pretty much playing for pride. So maybe Eugene has a valid point after all. Maybe this is the time to actually blood in our young guys, especially considering that the likes of Faf du Plessis himself, while I'm glad he rendered himself available for this series now, I would agree. I think maybe the overseas tours, especially to Pakistan, maybe we should bring in the young guys, young guns to prove their worth.
I think my only rebuttal to that would be the fact that we haven't won a test match. These guys need to win a test series. And it's very hard to win a test match, even with experienced guys, but with a majority youngsters, it's going to be a lot harder. And that's what I think they're trying to breed. You need to breed a culture of winning. You need to show people how to win test matches. That's what made those Graham Smith sides so great, is that they always knew how to win test matches and they knew how to draw test matches. They knew how to avoid losing. And you need to build that. And the only way you can build that is having some sort of a spine that you can add people onto. I do get that those World Test Championship matches, you could call them dead rubbers, but sending youngsters to Pakistan is just a one-way ticket for them to just keep on losing. And you just find yourself in the middle of the year with having lost quite a few games.
It's an excellent point. It's an excellent point. Lubabalo, do you share these guys' sentiments, or you slap bang in the middle like you normally are?
Yeah, I'm a bit in the middle. With regards to what Umpo said, I think we only have youngsters at the moment, because if you look at the most experienced guy in the side, in terms of batsmen, it's Faf du Plessis, and he hasn't even played 70 odd test matches. So we're not really at the point where we can decide, okay, we're not taking youngsters or we're taking oldish guys, unless we're referring to youngsters in terms of age. Because for me, if you've played only 60-something test matches, you're still a youngster in test cricket. I'll stop calling you a youngster in test cricket once you play 100 test matches, or let's just say because we South African, let's say 75 test matches, because we don't have a lot of players playing 100 test matches. And with regards to that comment there, I think for me, 5 test matches is too few, to be honest with you. I think it depends on the kind of side that you have. With the side that we have a struggling top 7, for instance. So if you're going to give young guys, let's say you give a KP just 5 test matches, it's not enough. Remember, he's coming into a side that's struggling to win matches. He's coming into a side that's struggling to score runs. So he's not only worried about trying to make a name for himself in Test cricket, he's also worried about trying to get the team to score runs. He's also worried about trying to get the team to win matches. So, for instance, if you had a side that had AB, Hash, and they were scoring runs, then you can say, youngster, you have such big batsmen in the side, you don't really have to worry too much about scoring runs. So we can give you just 5 test matches. But if the youngsters are coming into a struggling side and you only give them 5 test matches, for me, it doesn't sound unfair, to be honest.
But do you think that we're going to see youngsters actually flourish in this specific tour? Because, I mean, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking with KG out, that's a vacancy right there for one of the young up-and-coming fast bowlers in the squad. Then from a batting point of view, I feel there's a bit of a lock-in. At number 3, we said there was a vacancy, but if Faf is there and they consider batting him at 3, what's the likelihood that we're going to see Keegan Peterson make his debut?
You see, I looked at the stats, and I was looking at the stats, and I was looking at how many times Faf du Plessis batted at 3. It's not actually as many as people think. Majority of his time he was batting at number 5. So and 4. So those are the 2 positions that they'll probably play him. I think that's where he wants to play. I don't think they'll put that pressure on him. I think we're looking for number 3 to replace Hashim Amla. Lubabalo, I think that you think the same thing, actually.
Yeah, for me, it's one of the I don't want to say it's an issue, but it's one of the questions I had around the appointment of the Proteas coach. My question was, is he a guy who fancies working with youngsters? I'm not going to answer that question, but it's one of the questions that I asked. But if you look at how since his first game with the side, the squads that have been announced, you look at the squads in terms of age, you get the feel that he's someone who fancies the guys who've been around for quite some time. So I honestly don't see a lot of youngsters coming into the side at the moment, to be honest. And we also need to be aware of the fact that he's trying to win that first test match. So it's not going to be easy for him to go for the younger guys. We might even see Rusty coming in at 3. Remember, with KG out as well, it means probably we are highly unlikely to have more than one debutant, to be honest. If we have a debutant, it will be Kyle, because Queen is going to bet higher, or because I don't see them playing a debutant bowler at the moment, because I think the coach fancies having the guys that have been around and the guys who are more experienced in terms of first class cricket.
So who would that be to take over KG's spot, Luba?
Well, you have okay, let's see. It's Buren Hendricks. I think is definitely going to start. Remember the last test match that we played, I think we didn't have Lungi. Ne? Lungi didn't play.
We had Lungi. We also
was
had
it Lungi or
was
Dane Patterson.
And Kagiso was not playing.
So it'll be it's highly likely going to be Lungi, Buren and Anna as our seamers, and hopefully we play a spinner, because if we don't play a spinner, it means we're going in with an attack that's very thin on experience. I know they'll be tempted to go with 4 seamers, but I want Kesh to play. He will bring in that experience bowling attack as well.
Yeah, that's interesting points. Okay, guys, we're gonna open up the lines to callers now. You to all the callers that are out there, they're gonna call in. You'll get about 30 seconds to a minute to have your say, because we're gonna have a lot of discussions and talk about the live comments as well. You make your point, and then I'll have to say bye to you. So we got our first caller on the show. I'm going to give him a little extra time because he's been waiting for quite some time over here in the back end. But for the rest of the callers, just try to make it as quick as possible. Make your point, and then we can move on with the conversation. So welcome to the show, Ashwani. I'm going to give the floor to you to just have your say. I see that you said in the private chat that you have a team that you want to talk about. You heard what all the panelists said. I'm going to put the spotlight on you, and you can have your say.
Yeah, I made a team of future South African players who have not played for Proteas. That's my future SA squad are Wesley Marshall, Riyad Van Tonder, Riyad Du Swart, Matthew Britzke, Marco Jensen, Clinton Sturman, Ankono Manka, Tony De Zorzi, Wendele Mekwetu, Miguel Pretorius, and Stephen Tate. These are my future Proteas who have not played for Proteas yet, but I think 7 out of 11 can play for Proteas.
Sorry, who is the last one, Ashwani? The last
Stephen Tate.
Stephen
Tate from the Warriors.
Yes. Oh, okay, right.
So originally he was called up into the ODI. I think it was the T20 side, and then obviously there was him and Mokamare, and they were sent back afterwards again back into their franchises.
I talk about Wendele Mekwetu. I saw him in 2018 Under-19 World Cup. In that World Cup, I picked two players who I think technically better and should be ready for international series. One is Shubman Gill of India. Second is that guy Wendele Mekwetu, because I saw his batting against New Zealand at that World Cup. He has time to play the ball. He played the ball late, so I think he needs little bit of fine tuning, and he is ready for the international stage.
What was the specifically that impressed you about Wendele Mekwetu? Besides playing the ball late, of course, what else impressed you about him?
I think his composure on the at the crease, and I think his temperament is very, very solid.
Okay, that's awesome. Is there anything else you want to say before we say bye to you, Ashwani?
No, this is my team. I think you should take it.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Ashwani, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
So we'll chat to you very good. Cool. So, guys, that was some interesting points he made. Some interesting players he picked. I mean, for one, Matthew Britzke on my side, I think he's an opener, though. There's so many openers competing for spots.
That's the problem.
Looking at the bowlers as well, there are so many fast bowlers that are also competing for spots. What was your thoughts, Ravi, on some of the players that he mentioned?
Look, I also saw Wendele Mekwetu in that very same World Cup. Obviously not live, but I think he does show some promise. But I think there's so many guys that are knocking on the door at the moment. I think, in essence, these are some of the guys we might be seeing in the next 5 to 6 years. They'll make their debuts in various formats as well. Marco Moret, I think, is also a guy that I think has been understated for quite a while. He's somebody that's knocking on the door. Wesley Marshall is also somebody that's floating under the radar. I know he scored a big 100 the other day in promising, wondrous conditions. So hopefully we might see more of these sort of exploits to sort of justify a selection. But I think the challenge that these guys have at the moment is that they're competing with quite a robust squad at the moment, that we're struggling to pick an 11-4 at the moment. So, you know what I'm saying? So it's quite a difficult situation that we're in as it stands right.
And those 2 COVID positives are going to change everything.
They're going to change everything. They're going to change everything.
I mean, nobody knows who they are. Maybe
Engineer said it was a Gauteng player. He said it was a Gauteng player. Is that true? Is that very much up
we don't know. It's all rumors at this stage.
Yeah. Okay. Obviously they're not going to tell us. I mean, that's
they
up to the player to decide.
You'll just have to figure it out on game day on the 26th.
So just to the people that don't know how it works, according to the doctor of the Proteas, he explained it to us, and he said that because of doctor-patient confidentiality, they cannot release those the results to the public and who was tested positive. If the player wants to come out and say that he was the guy for obviously safety reasons and his own reasons, then he would come out and say. Obviously, with footballers, the way they travel a lot, game to game, they normally will come out and say for safety reasons that they are positive, and you'll see it in the Premier League, but they've come out on their own. It's not normally a statement from the club itself. It's normally from the player itself that will come on social media and say that they're positive for COVID. So let's move on, guys. Vernie Erasmus, there's a lot of comments. I'm thinking that I must maybe start making super chats on here so that you guys can get your comments out read out. If you guys want to support Cricket South Africa, if you want to support Cricket Fanatics magazine, not Cricket South Africa, if you want to support Cricket Fanatics magazine, that would be a great thing. You'll pay a couple of rands maybe to see your comment obviously highlighted on the screen. If you guys are interested in doing that and supporting us so that we can create better content, let me know. DM me or email me and let me know all this on the comment on this video or in this live chat if you agree or if you're fine with that, if me putting super chats on so that we can get through all your comments, because at the moment there's so many that are coming through in the live chat. We can't get through all of them. Vernie Rasmus saying, great to see Van Tonda added to the squad. It will be interesting to see how he goes, even if the opportunity in the series, though I believe he will have to wait his turn unless COVID hits harder. I agree with that statement. I think that Reiner van Toorn is going to have to wait his turn. There's first, I think KP is the first number 3 that they have in mind, and then afterwards they will pick based on that. Lububalo, what are your thoughts on Reiner? Should he get an immediate start?
I don't think so. I think you can go, Lububalo.
Sorry, I think there's a little delay on Lububalo's side.
Oh, okay, no, that's fine. But I honestly think that this was a selection that was predicated out of the fact that they postponed the 4-day series matches this week. So normally one would say it'd be better for Arena to continue to score runs domestically if we had a 4-day series happening. But because there isn't, it's much better for him to be in the squad. I think based on the fact that they initially had selected Keegan Peterson, even if you want to consider him as an opener or Cyril Avia ahead of him, you kind of felt that even his selection now will be, even though his selection now, it probably won't be able to make it into the side. So look, it's great that he's there to get used to the system and the team. And if there is a break and an opportunity, I think he'll be given to it. He'll be given it. But right now, I think he'll even go to Pakistan, but I don't think he'll get a game.
Sorry, man. Kieran Mitchell in the comments here knows who the people are. Come tell us. Spill the tea. No, I'm joking. Don't say anything. You're gonna get into trouble. Lububalo, your thoughts on that on Reinhard? I know what Ravi's looking at me with this puppy dog eyes, trying to get me to ask him about Reinhard because I know what he thinks about Reinhard. That's why I'm not asking him. Lububalo, your thoughts?
I don't see him playing here. I agree with what Mpo said and what Werner said as well. I don't see him playing at the moment unless there's something big that happens. Remember, I even said so on the show the other day that I hope that whoever the 2 guys that have COVID, I'm sorry if it's coming out wrong. I hope it's not the senior guys, because we will be going in with a team that's very short on experience, and it's something that I've always been afraid of, having 11 inexperienced guys. I think those who follow the 4-day series will see it. Every now and then, if you have an inexperienced bowling attack, you often get found out. And the Sri Lankan side is not a side that we can take lightly. They will capitalize if we go in with a side that's very inexperienced. So, hence I'm hoping it's the 2 guys that have COVID are not 2 of the guys that are actually very experienced in the side. Imagine going in with 3 or 4 debutants. I'd personally be worried, but I don't see Reynard playing at the moment. I think it's going to be good for him to be in and around that atmosphere. I remember they did it with Quinton de Kock as well. He sort of came in as one of the members of the squad, but he played, I think it was a few months after he had already been in the squad. And it was helpful to him as well to be around the guys before he even made his debut.
Yeah, it's all interesting points. Now, Ravi, you can have your say.
Yeah. so yeah, absolutely. I think it did sort of render a bit of suspicion that Reynard literally got the call up. I think we were trying to get a hold of him in the early afternoon, and then round about I would say around about the same time actually he got called up to the squad. So him along with Miguel Pretorius, and begs the question, why now? Why those two individuals specifically? While we've spoken, and Luther, obviously, right? While we spoke ad nauseum about Reinhardt in terms of what he's done the last 5 seasons, Miguel is, I think he's top of the log at the moment in terms of the best bowling stats. I may be mistaken around that, but he was leading for some time. And I think it's like a no-brainer that you want to take a guy with that sort of caliber, that sort of quality in there. So it sort of begs a question as to who's actually got infected quite recently. We mentioned the vacancy that, or the sort of the void that KG Rabada leaves in the team. Is that necessarily going to go to a Glenton? Could we possibly see Miguel Pretorius make his debut on Boxing Day? Anything is possible, guys. Like I said, it's a bit circumspect. Is those 3 individuals, 3 very promising players that were just called up at the 11th hour.
Yeah, you see that it was weird because initially Miguel Pretorius was called up as individually. It was like a story on its own, and then a couple of days later, I think that's when Luto and Reinhardt was called up, and then I think a few hours after that or a day after that, they announced the COVID tests that were positive.
Right. Yes, but you're also forgetting that Dwayne was also called up.
Yes, that was Dwayne,
yes.
Luto, and so that's holy flip, yeah.
So no, but okay, but if you look at the chain of events,
people say Lions players, then you automatically think
but if you look at the chain of events, so Wednesday, I think on Wednesday the team tests were taken. It was either Thursday or Wednesday, right? But Miguel was already called up on the Wednesday. Yes. Actually, I was with you that day. Yeah. And then we then on Friday we got
we met in person, guys.
Yeah.
yeah, you guys having a romantic dinner on the Friday. What's going on here?
Units on the grass in the middle.
Yes, we're allowed on the field. And then on Friday midday we got a squad announcement with the 3 players being added, right? And then obviously that evening we were told that there were two positive cases. So Ravi's theory does hold.
Yeah.
It holds a little bit of water. To say that possibly it's a bowling department or somebody senior, but we don't know. We'll find out on Unboxing Day, by deduction most likely. But I also do think that there are some concerns. There are fitness concerns around, I think, the bowling attack, as to how guys are fit. I was surprised that Dwayne Pretorius was brought in, but I'm assuming that he's the one who's going to get the start on Boxing Day. If you're going to call him in as the incumbent all-rounder, he's probably going to get the start on Boxing Day. But it's we're all just guessing here right now as to who it is.
It's interesting that they called up Vian Mulder, unless Dwayne Pretorius got a lot fitter or recovered in this period, that they're trusting Vian Mulder as the guy, as an all-rounder. I don't know if maybe Dwayne recovered in that period, and that's why Dwayne was part of that 3.
He must have if they brought him on now.
Yeah.
The engineer asked that
was he fit all along? Or was he fit all along?
He wasn't fit. Remember, he had a hamstring injury. So
I know initially, yes.
Yeah, so the question was, why didn't you select him initially in that initial party, get him in the bubble, if he's going to be fit for the second test.
That's what I was thinking.
So yes, so but also the other thing was that Reynard and Miguel's performances in this past round of 4-day fixtures
And the previous season as well.
Yes, but remember they weren't selected, and then all of a sudden, because I remember I was talking about Miguel Pretorius because I was surprised that he wasn't. Because if you're looking to have rather than have one, have two. But Reynard's performance against the Lions was possibly one of the questions of, okay, no, this guy's knocking down the door, and we also don't have 4-day fixture, so why not bring him in? But Miguel's one was possibly as a result of injury. Or something else, but those tests we only found out on Friday, so we can't assume that it's a Lions player, i.e., being Vian Mulder, because by the time Miguel Pretorius was brought into the squad, Vian was still fine.
Mm-hmm.
Eugene Swanepoel.
I think just one thing. I think Miguel Pretorius' selection was sort of they were thinking along the lines of if they want to pick 7 batsmen, but they still want to have that extra batting option because he's been scoring runs as well. I'm struggling to get. I think they when they knew that it's probably one of the bowlers as well that's missing in
I think
from
it was
the 2
more
guys.
of a,
I think it's probably one of the bowlers. So I think it was more of a bowling option. Yeah. So they were thinking also in terms of trying to get someone who's currently in form with the ball and that can add something, a little bit of something with the bat as well. I don't understand why they recalled Dwayne Pretorius. They picked him as an all-rounder, but he batted after Vernon Philander. So I don't understand. I think at the moment he's someone who doesn't, maybe he wasn't told or wasn't given an outline of his role in the side. Because if you're bringing me as an all-rounder, I'm expecting to bat in the top 7. But now it happens, I find myself batting after a bowler. It will leave a lot of questions in your mind as well. I don't know, but I think chances of a Vian Mulder playing as well are also higher than Dwayne Pretorius playing. They probably just wanted to add an extra player in the squad, but they thought, let's just go for someone who's already been in the squad, someone that's already played, I think.
Interesting points. I see a question over here to me. Mudit asking me, is there going to be a press conference with the Proteas anytime soon? Yes, tomorrow. Quentin de Kock's going to be holding a press conference tomorrow morning. So you'll see that on the channel afterwards, hopefully. If we can get it up in time. We're still figuring out who's going to be attending it from Cricket Fanatics magazine. We'll find out. I'll probably find out tonight or tomorrow morning who's going to be attending it on our behalf. But otherwise, I will do it. Then we've got a couple of guys here saying that Vian Mulder is the new colours. I've been hearing that flying around because he obviously bats up the order for Gauteng and for his school, etc. He batted 3, I think, for his school. As he went to the Lions, he started batting 5 more.
He bats 6 for the
and
Lions.
Then he now bats 6. But I mean, when he started off, I'm talking about when he initially. And then he moved down now to 6, of course. Obviously, with the batting lineup that the Lions have. I'm surprised that they're doing so poorly. Actually, they should be doing much better than their results have been. It's almost like Arsenal, you should be doing a lot better than their results.
Why do you need to bring that team together? Oh my word! Oh, God, I should leave. I should leave the stream.
Bevan Weber saying, "Send me to the press conference." Yeah, bro. You have to show me some of what you can do with your writing before we can decide.
So here's the question, right? And Luva brought a point. So South Africa will probably be looking to have 7 batsmen, right? How do you win a test match at Centurion? What's the first inning score that you need to get to? What's the minimum that you're looking to get to? And do we have the batting personnel, having not played test cricket in months, to be able to get there? I think I've always felt that 350 first inning score at 350 plus at Centurion is enough.
Decent.
Yeah. The question is, can you get that can you in the six that we're going to name, whichever six, which six will get us that amount, and then do we need to have an extra bowler to take the 20 wickets if you're going 3 quicks, 1 spinner, and I think that's where I think in that initial squad that they selected, it kind of felt like they were going down one path with we're going to go with 6 plus 1 additional all-rounder in Van Mulder, and then we're going to go with the normal but it feels to me that by adding in a few more all-rounders, it opens up the opportunity that actually we might go with 7, but that third bowler replacing KG might be someone who's good with the bat, so you kind of have a long tail.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Yeah, I see a comment over here about Luto and why he's been picked and why is he next in line, even though he hasn't played a lot of matches this season. And I know he hasn't played a lot of matches this season, but last season for the Warriors, he was the top seamer in the tournament with 24 wickets. So he's shown his ability. And the seasons before that, he also played quite well in the 4-day series as well. For the Warriors, he was excellent. And I was quite surprised that he moved. I know Tladi Bukaka was looking for another franchise. Sasanda Magala obviously looking to move for the shorter formats to play for championship sides and win trophies. I was quite shocked, however, on why Luto also left. But I think for the long term, he's going to be one of the main bowlers for the Lions, and that's obviously going to be the case. I see Ashwani saying Cherukutsia too. You forgot to mention his name. Yes, Cherukutsia down the line. I think you were right. You were talking future. You see that the pitches in South Africa and the wickets in South Africa have changed quite a lot over the years. Actually, it's quite interesting, especially in Newlands. Newlands has changed a lot, and now also with the construction over there. I mean, Paul, you saw when we were watching the WSL, how different those wickets were playing out.
At the end of the day. At the end of the day, and if you look at one of the matches on YouTube, at the end of the day, there's the video. We left the video on running in the background. You can see the ground staff sweeping that pitch, and it was like a day 2 pitch, and it had so much sand on it. I was like, dudes, it's not like yes, you've only played about it was 160 overs then, but like. They 80 overs in that day, and they were sweeping. I was like, okay, that was actually quite a lot more than I expected. Normally you just sweep it off and it goes with it thingy, but it was a little mound of sand there. So it's interesting that now the pitches, the characteristic of the pitches are different, especially with the if you look at the 4-day matches at what is it at Centurion, it was actually more batter friendly than necessarily balanced. I think we had a few draws there with the teams playing there, and it was hard for the Titans to actually win matches at Centurion even with the bowling attack they had, which is it's not a bad bowling attack, but that's something that needs to be in Boucher's back pocket. It is his coaching home ground per se, so he should know. I'm just worried that we'll be able to. I'm just worried that we'll be able to that we can put. I just need us to put a score of 350 on. The question is how many batsmen do you need? Especially with the bowling attack.
I mean, to your point, Mpo, I've just looked at some stats here. The average.
We just have for Smith spinners as well as the ground staff at Newlands.
To your point about Centurion, for years I believed the best hunting ground in the country was always Newlands. Obviously, in recent times that wasn't the case, but at Centurion we've got an 80% win record in 25 matches in the last 25 years. We've won 20 out of those 25 matches, right? Average runs per over 3.31. So you're looking at a pass score of, let's just say, 280 to 300, 330 in the first innings if your batsmen get it right. Now, I hear what you're saying about.
They know that.
And I think that combination is going to make a major difference. I think there's by process of elimination, I can guarantee you those two are going to be opening. Right? There's no. There are lots of guys in the comments saying, maybe we should open as Reinhardt and drop this one down the order, and that's not going to happen. I guarantee it's going to be Markram and Elgar that's going to open. They're going to go in as a combination. They are one of the most successful opening pairs in the country, and they're batting in their home
world,
ground.
actually.
In the world, and they're batting in their home ground of all places, right? So, by all means, go right ahead. I mean, if you can get us a solid start and get us closer to the 300 threshold, we in business. Because the thing with Centurion, it's a very unique wicket in that there's something for the batsmen and the bowlers as well, right? So, but I mean, ideally, you should bat first, get a good total, 300 plus, you in business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you want to go past 400, by all means, do it. But 300 plus, you in the green zone, definitely. And it's gonna be interesting. I think the top six that we've sort of constructed, they're gonna play a vital role here.
I saw in the comment. Sorry, guys, man. I just saw in the comment section as well. Keenan and Afzal let us know that Tandontin is also in the squad as a non-playing member. So you'll be around probably in the bubble, soaking up experience maybe. So that's an interesting point. I didn't see anything on Twitter yet. I haven't been on Twitter today, so I haven't really seen anything.
Do you think that Sepambla is there for the very same reason as well, largely because the last match he played obviously was T20? Do you think it's more of a confidence builder? It's getting back into the system. It's getting back.
He played in the last round. He played in the last round of the 4-day series.
Okay. Yeah. Just to confirm, Tando is indeed has joined the bio bubble as he also put it up on his Instagram story.
Okay, cool.
But I've actually been busy. I've been busy on Twitter and Facebook. I see a lot of people are unhappy about that, but it's nothing new. I can name. I remember at some point
unhappy about Tando
as a about Tando being a non-playing member in the squad. Matthew Pritzker, he's been part of the Proteas side as a non-playing member. Even Quinton de Kock, before he got his debut, he was there. Eddie Lee was also added at some point. It's not necessarily saying he's jumped the queue or he's jumped the line and now he's next in line. It's basically saying just to give him a bit of experience. And I'm sure they'll use him as a net bowler as well, because in that bio bubble, I'm not sure they're allowed to bring in net bowlers from the outside. So they're basically adding their bowling options in the net. So I don't see why people are throwing their toys out of the thingy just because of that. It doesn't really make sense.
You can't bring any net bowler. You can't bring a guy from Varsity College to bowl you a few pies. This is.
They must bring me. I've got some leg spin.
Confidence builder. Some steaky kidney pies for you there, no problem.
Yeah, anyway,
Faf is going to be so good, bro. Faf is going to be excellent. 300 plus.
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? So if you're looking to win test matches and get the score of about 300, 320, 350, putting in a few more youngsters into that top six is gonna set us back and then actually push us forward.
Yeah.
Especially against that Sri Lankan bowling attack. It's not
depends what type of batsman they are.
Not really. It's like, look, I get the whole. I know you love Kyle Verreynne, and I think you do, and I think that's great, and you've said that a lot. But if we're 60 for 4, what's Kyle going to do?
No, well, yeah, Kyle will score 100.
That takes us to 250 all out.
All browse here, guys.
No, joking. But I'm saying, for example, what I'm talking about, a guy like Keegan Peterson as a youngster, I think that he has the temperament and the way he bats. He can spend long hours at a crease. He doesn't need to feel rushed. So a guy like him, having a youngster like him coming, he's not really young by age, maybe 26, 27. But I mean, by experience, on debut, I think I'm talking about a guy on debut. He has the temperament to be able to do something like that.
Look, I only think, as Luba's point earlier on, I only think you're probably going to be allowed one, maximum two youngsters, especially one in that batting order, not more than one, largely because of the fact that this team has struggled to put 300 up for the longest time. I think for the past 18 months, we've struggled. We've only got like 300 like once in an innings. And I think that's something that we need to we need to consider. I know KP will make it in, but and I'm with Rehan De Jong. I think we're probably going to riot on Boxing Day, which is going to be something else. But I do think we just need to be cognizant of the fact that this team doesn't have the confidence. They don't know how to win a game, how to win a test match. They won that they won in Centurion last year against England, and it all fell apart after that. So we just need to be very careful as to bringing in too many youngsters into a side that needs to beat a team that they got whitewashed by the last time that team came to South Africa. Yeah. You know. And largely it's the same guys who are bowling at you. The only difference, and this is the biggest loss that Sri Lanka have, is not having Angelo Matthews. But trust me, they're gonna come well prepared to try and take advantage of those of the conditions that we provide them. And so, you know, in as much as and maybe here's a and I'm not saying this country isn't good enough. But here's an option that CSA could use. 2 days ago, Cricket Australia have finally given Afghanistan their one test, even though I do think they're going to somehow cancel it for another India series. But try and get other smaller nations to come to South Africa and play in the buyer bubble try get Bangladesh. They haven't played Test cricket this year because of COVID. Get Bangladesh to come in. Get Afghanistan to come around. You've got Pakistan but you know, in February, March, and April, try fill it with those teams, and you can give your youngsters around because
Ireland to come in.
Even that.
Come Ireland.
Yeah, no, but because West Indies are going to play Bangladesh now.
Look at Luba's face.
Luba doesn't, but
Luba, we can't play India and England all the time, bro.
Oh no! Let me explain. In principle, I agree with Simpo. I'm not gonna lie, but one thing is, you invite Ireland, you invite Zimbabwe to come and play with SA, and then select a Reinhard van Tonder. Reinhard is gonna score 300, scores 400. He loses form just when you're about to play against England. People start bashing him. He scores against the wicket size. But that's how the law of averages works. He's been scoring runs. Yeah, it's not his fault that his first 20 games were against so-called weaker sides. Now the law of averages is catching up with him when he's playing against the so-called stronger sides, and then people judge him based on that. So for me, for now, I would rather our youngsters they make their debuts against your England, your Australia. I don't mind, because honestly, a lot of people are bashing Aiden Makram as if Aiden went to CSA and said, "Hi guys, can I debut against Zimbabwe and Bangladesh?" It doesn't work like that. You play against whoever is in front of you.
The truth is, Luba, is that
that's a
while
real
I agree with
you, Instagram.
While I agree with you, you must play the top of the log, guys. You know, so that's your Australia, England, New Zealand, and India. Obviously, well, I mean, that India have to score more than 36 to beat us. You know,
Ravi, you know our fan base, ne? They can remember Aiden scoring runs against Zim and Bangladesh, but they don't remember Aiden Makram scoring runs against Stark and Hazelwood. But he did it. He smashed them. Exactly.
The man did
he smashed them all over the place.
Actually, yeah. We were in the pump. When he scored that 150.
Didn't Dean run him out in that game?
No, against Bangladesh.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
I think it was a 97.
And then Dean got run out on 199. I was like poetic justice.
Dean would have had a proper fines meeting that night. I can tell you that now.
Dean was distraught, eh? Yes, sis. I remember him in the press conference, how sad he was when that happened. He wanted to cry.
You know how hard it is to get to 200. All Shaq colors how hard it is to get to 200. Yeah. But my point was, it's playing those teams teaches our team the culture of winning and a culture of how to win test matches. Because it's not, yes, you're playing the minnow, or I don't want to call them minnows, but the smaller nations. But it's about teaching these guys, because test cricket's about repetition. It's about repeating the same thing consistently over and over again and being able to do it so that you can win a test match. You know, taking 20 wickets, scoring enough runs for you to win a test, and that's what you need to get the youngsters into. And it helps when you do that, because I remember that Bangladesh tour where Aiden was given an opportunity. That's how he learned how to get himself into the side, and it gave him the confidence to play. But yeah, like that's the only way for me that we can give these youngsters a chance, because remember, guys, we can't be ageist. 30 is the new 25. Guys are in sport. Guys are playing longer. Guys are wanting to stay in the side. So if you say you want to give youngsters, what must happen to the 29, 30-year-olds who are in the setup? Do we just throw them away?
Ronaldo's not done. Those guys don't even eat pizza anymore. What's going on with the world?
No, but that's the truth.
Already done that, Bevan, man. Already done that, you know.
Ronaldo has pizza once a year.
We took a stroll at Boland Park, then like in the middle of Boland Park. We had a little picnic. Like, sorry, Umpo, it was in Scal that got the picnic first.
That's fine. I know you love it.
Lovely.
Brian.
I mean, you raise a valid point there, because I agree. The minnow status for me means nothing. Cricket is cricket, because for me, these smaller teams can present a bit of what you would call a banana peel. You know, you could slip off it and that could be the end of you. England invited Ireland last year, and they prepared a green top, thinking they're going to steamroll over Ireland. Sure, the match was over in 2.5 days. Fair enough. But Ireland skittled England out for 88. So that tells you something over there. Right?
Yeah. So, guys, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and giving your say. If you guys are free in the week and stuff, you can obviously come on my live calling shows. If I have like a daily show or something, I would like one of you guys obviously to come on as guests. I enjoy the conversation. We'll talk obviously about the more newsworthy topic. But to everybody out there that has joined in tonight, thank you so much for being so active in the comment section. Sorry that I didn't get to all of the comments. I'm gonna turn on obviously the special comments on for next week for our podcast, so that your comments will be read, so that you guys can obviously get involved and make sure that your comments do get read and come on the screen. For all the guys that are watching, thanks. Like, comment, share, subscribe, please. Click the notification bell for all future videos. Help us get to that 2,000 mark, guys. We the goal number 2,000. That's what we're trying to get on YouTube. Of course, we want to become one of the number one YouTube channels, obviously, in cricket in South Africa. If you guys can help us get there, don't forget to obviously download the latest magazine, subscribe to the latest magazine. The link is on the screen and in the description. cricketfanaticsmag.com is where you get all your updates, and obviously there's a tab for the Sri Lanka series. If you guys want to, if you guys have a business and you're looking to make sales online, even if your business is offline, link is in the description. You'll also see in some articles we have a banner for you guys to learn how to do marketing with Cricket Fanatics magazine and to promote your brand. Thanks to Mpo, Ravi, Lububalo for coming on the show, and thanks to all of you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys very, very soon. Take care, everyone.